All
Hello,
right.
welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, Warwick. How are you?
Good, very well. You look like a very intelligent person. You're in a library there with loads of books.
This
Is
this
it
is my
books or
digital
DVDs?
my digital background. So
Not real.
it's everything's virtual now, right?
Indeed, it is. I'm not even here. Somewhere else.
Well, so I have to say this is such a thrill for me. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this a lot during this tour, but I mean, I grew up watching you. It's like you have been a friend throughout my life, just watching Willow again and again.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's lovely to hear. Never gets old.
So my first question right off the bat, I mean, this is a sequel to Willow is something that you have previously you've said it's not going to happen. You know, it was even kind of the punchline in the Life's Too Short finale, and yet here you are now. The first day you are on set, you are in character as Willow Opgood. They call action. What is going through your mind at that moment?
Wow. Suddenly I feel responsible for fans all over the world. I've got to do a good job here. They've been asking for this for 41 years, and here we are. We got to deliver this. So you suddenly feel this huge responsibility, and the pressure is piled on. But then once you get over that, it then becomes easy. I mean, these are, the character Willow is very comfortable for me. It's a character I know very well, even though it's 41 years ago when I first played him when I was only 17. Playing him again is a delight. I know the character well, and I think he's better now he's older. I mean, it's a more kind of interesting character now to play. He's a more worldly character. He's been through a lot in his own life, as I have as a person as well. And you bring all of that to the table, you layer it onto the character, and you end up with this new kind of incarnation of him, one which is familiar but nonetheless, more interesting, I think.
So the film, as you've mentioned, and it unfortunately didn't lead to a sequel or franchise. So I'm sure there was that initial disappointment. But at what point did you realize that this thing had taken on a bit of a cult fondness?
Well, it's when you start being recognized from that role. So shortly after the film came out, people would start to say to me, you're the guy who played Willow. Do you think there'll be a sequel? We enjoyed it very much. And I'd be like, oh, you're the person who went to the theaters and saw it. And and then the advent of sell-through VHS and rental VHS copies of the film allowed people to kind of either own it or rent it. And then that's when it really started to take off. DVDs also helped in that, and parents started to show their kids the movie. And it was this kind of generational kind of hand-on film that people enjoyed to kind of share with people they loved, and that's really the kind of fan base that developed, and the ones that were kind of had the loudest voices in asking for more Willow.
It's extraordinary to me that you were 17 in that film, which you just mentioned, and I know, but I mean, I watch the movie all the time. I just watched it recently with my kids, and I'm like, he is not 17 years old. And I think part of that is just because I was a kid when I saw it. But beyond that, it's your performance showed a kind of maturity, and I'm sort of fascinated by that. That I mean, you're 17 years old in the middle of this massive George Lucas spectacle. Val Kilmer's there. I mean, this is a big thing. What was happening in your mind at that moment?
You know what? I think it really helped that I was kind of 17 and fairly naive, because I didn't really understand the full kind of responsibility I had playing a title character in a film like this, as you say, alongside Val Kilmer, created by George Lucas, directed by Ron Howard. I mean, these are big names, and I didn't really understand that kind of responsibility. I just was like, okay, this is cool. I get to do some stunts, and I get paid, and this is quite fun. And Val also was an integral part in keeping my spirits up and keeping it light, always having a laugh and a joke with me. So it really was a very fun experience for me. It was only kind of beyond the film that I realized, looking back, wow, that was a big deal for me. And didn't quite understand, what a big deal it was at the time. But, when we come to the series, I kind of understand that a bit more. I knew that a lot of people were going to be looking at this and expecting great things from it, and from me as well. So I kind of felt the pressure doing the series. But fortunately now, you know, I'm a bit older, and I've been acting quite a few years now, over 40 years. So have had a lot of experience and know how to kind of shoulder that responsibility.
Well, and you are, of course, the most financially successful supporting actor of all time, which is
I wish
a
that kind of
fascinating.
translated into my bank account though.
I mean, that is just like an interesting data point, I would imagine, for you.
It is, yeah. I kind of make the Guinness Book of Records every year with that. It's really delightful. And then people
That
expect me to buy them great Christmas gifts because I think I'm absolutely loaded.
that you mentioned Val Kilmer, and I have to say, you know, the clip from Life's Too Short, where you're introducing Val Kilmer to your secretary. I mean, I play that. I just watch it all the time. I just watched it yesterday with my wife. It makes us laugh all the time. And I was wondering if you could talk about your relationship with Val. He's obviously going through some health issues right now, and I was wondering if you could talk about the longevity of your relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned that episode of Life's Too Short. I love that episode. And isn't it fascinating now that kind of art has imitated art in a sense, in the
Yeah,
fact that we did do a sequel,
that's right.
namely a series. But yeah, my relationship with Val is a great one. I've mentioned Val already. You know, he was one of the main reasons I actually got through the movie. You know, when things were physically tough and I was ready to throw in the towel, Val was there with a joke and some support. I mean, a lovely, lovely man. So very giving as a performer as well. You know, great actor. You know, some of the stuff he said to me on Willow was like, Warwick, why are you not breathing during your scenes with me? You don't breathe at all. You know, when you're acting, you sometimes forget to breathe. And I was doing just that. And, you know, since the film, we've remained friends. Some of the stuff he says to me, I mean, it's pretty out there sometimes, but he once said, hey, you know what? Why don't we go to New Zealand with a video camera and make some more Willow stuff and send it to George so if he wants to do a movie? I mean, he's always been keen to see a sequel himself throughout the years. But yeah, we've remained in touch. You know, I've seen him at fan conventions, at his house. No, he's a wonderful guy. And we were in touch during the making of the series as well. And there wasn't a day went by I didn't think of Val and, you know, wish he was with us.
Well, with that in mind, I mean, hopefully this sequel series is the start of something. Is there anything you hope to have happen with Willow moving forward?
You know, it's weird to talk about more Willow already, you know, when we haven't haven't really unleashed the series on the world yet. But of course, we all had a blast working together on it and would love to rekindle that. And next time around, I'd love for Val to be part of it in a big way.
Crossed. Well, thank you so much, Warwick. This is like I said, such a thrill to be able to chat with you.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Thank you.